What's good, Finn Nation? What's good? It's your boy Reason, and we're back here for another one as usual. And I'm joined by the Jason Taylor to my Zach Thomas, EMdolphinfan. Say what up to the good people.
What's good, homie? Fans Nation. I hope everybody's out there is being safe out there, and hope everybody's good. Let's get into it.
Yeah, we got actually a whole bunch of slew of topics. A bunch of articles, a hypothetical, and then, of course, the main topic of the show. So we actually do have quite a bit to talk about. And what do you want to start with? I'm thinking we start off with some good news, showing a little bit of the popularity we got going on worldwide for the Miami Dolphins right now because – I see people in the shout out. I see people in the chat right now. I just want to shout him out properly. Let's get his name here because this thing's worldwide, people. I think I'm in Canada myself, but shout out to Richard Blackstone because he's from Jamaica too. Obviously, he probably knows our, and then you got our boy Sharif over there in the Bahamas, and then we're all over here, man. This is worldwide, but going on right now. Alain Popper put out a article today, and it's basically going on about how we got on a poll conducted. Basically, it turned out that the Miami Dolphins were the favorite NFL team for the majority in the United Kingdom.
First thing I have to say about that is there's a lot of smart people over there.
But how many times have we played over there? Has it been 3 times or 2?
I know we played New Orleans and we played the Texans.
Yeah,
so we played twice.
We played there twice, right?
Twice.
So yeah. I think only a handful of teams have played there twice as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you'd be surprised, even up here in Canada. I mean, I know a lot of Dolphin fans, and actually, the connection up here is there's a lot of Italians. Up in Canada, and that's why a lot of people grew up Dolphins fan from the family because their fathers were Dan Marino fans.
Mm-hmm.
People forget about the Italian American and the Italian Canadian backing he had. So in Canada, that's why there's actually we have a pretty heavy Italian population out here, and there's a lot of Dolphin fans because of that. To be honest with you,
here in Texas, bro. It's a huge Dolphin. It's a lot of Dolphin fans here in Dallas-Fort Worth. I mean, you never see them until there's actually a game between the Dolphins and the Cowboys. At the games, bro, the Dolphins are represented well. I've seen it. I've seen them play maybe since I've been.
Reese says we played the Raiders over there too.
In
London.
When was that?
I'm gonna have to look that up. But anyways, continue on while I look it up.
Well, yeah, here in Texas, bro, it's a lot of Dolphin fans as well. Again, you never see them until there's an actual game. But yeah.
He's right. He's right.
Really? What year was that?
2015. Oh, sorry, no, my bad. 2014. At Wembley, when we played them at Wembley, September 28, 2014.
So we played them 3 times?
Yeah. So I think we actually might be – I think that's – I don't know how many teams – I don't think any other teams have played there 3 times. I know Jacksonville's played there a few times too. Shout out to Jeff Fremont because he says exactly the reason because of my dad too in here in Canada. I've said it multiple times, Jeff Fremont. I've got – I'm an 85 baby, and I've got multiple pictures of my dad when I was 6-7 months old, and he's holding me in his Merino jersey. So,
I forgot about that. I forgot about that Oakland game, bro.
Yeah, so did I actually. That's a good. Too. That's 5 years.
Forgot about that.
A lot's happened in 5 years.
But it's good to see. We're well represented. It's good to see the representation. The fan base is global. Again, I just let you know. It's a lot of. It's a lot of.
The first game in Canada at the Sky Dome in Toronto here was the Bills and the Dolphins. When the Bills started playing up here for a bit, their first game was against the Dolphins too.
Wow.
And it was sold
That's
out.
good.
That was their best attendance out of all the games they played up here. That was actually the best attendance.
Yeah, that's that's very good to see, bro, that we're represented, that this thing is global. So especially now that we've got our quarterback, and I really think the tides have turned. That momentum seems to be shifting to South Florida. So yeah, it's right on time. So good things are coming, bro. Good things are coming.
And you know what's crazy about you saying the tide is shifting? We've actually a lot of Alabama fans have now kind of adopted the Dolphins because of Tua. People aren't actually taking that into account. It's been pretty prevalent on social media with Alabama fans specifically, because the man's a player, specifically Alabama fans that are females have been hitting a lot of people up in the social media aspect, saying, who do we follow so we can follow Tua along in his career in Miami. So
yeah, man, the kid is bought. We've been saying that all year, bro.
All the more power to our Lord and Savior, the left arm of God, Tua Tagovailoa.
Well, I'm not gonna label him as my Lord and Savior, but you said that, not me. But with that being said, the kid is box office. We've been, we talked about and highlighted his on the field abilities. His transcendent.
I mean, I said
abilities,
6
but
months ago,
even off the field.
I said 6 months ago, 7 months ago, because there was one thing that wasn't being talked about really anywhere, and I brought it up, was the fact that people were underrating his marketability. And
he's box office, bro.
And now he's turned into you got the number 1 and number 2 selling jersey.
And if he comes out, and look at how much attention that's going to bring, the revenue is going to go through the roof. I know Stephen Ross has got to be ecstatic at this point. This kid is a box office draw. You know what I mean? Now look at the exposure we'll get, especially if we have a winning season this year. Okay, look at the exposure we'll get in terms of like the primetime games, that we'll get moving forward. If this kid turns out to be the player that we all think he can be, has the potential to be. So, yeah, I don't think people were taking that into account, They were just looking at his on the field ability, but off the field, man, look, this kid is box office. And again, if he performs, if he comes out and turns out to be the player we all think he can be, look out, bro. The Dolphins are going to be like, I know Stephen Ross. I know it was rumors about him, wanting to sit. It was rumors like maybe the last couple of years that he was going to sell the team. I think he might, if that information is accurate, I think he might want to reevaluate that at least a little longer.
I don't think he's going to. I think he wants to legitimately win. I think he would have to win a championship before he even thinks about that. And then the problem with that is he won't be thinking about that. He'll be thinking about winning another one.
Yeah. So
because he's already seeing, because this is the first legitimate franchise quarterback he's had under his regime, and he's already starting to see the financial benefits it's reaping, and they haven't even played a snap of football.
Oh, absolutely, bro.
So
absolutely.
I mean, the thing is, if not, you got to look at it this way. If we start winning, which we all assume is going to happen, if we start winning and Tua continues to be one of the most marketable players in the NFL, the value of the franchise itself is just going to continue to increase year in and year out. So you wouldn't you'd want to sit on that goose egg for a while before you think about it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So I said he might want to reevaluate those plans and because again, if this kid turns out to be the player that we all envision him to be, it's just going to benefit the organization as a whole. I mean, again, the exposure, the amount of casual support that we will gain moving forward. Like you mentioned, the Alabama fans migrating to the Dolphin fan base. It's a win-win, bro. And I don't think people really took that into consideration when, people that necessarily didn't want him. I don't think they really took, everything that this kid brings to our franchise, into consideration. They were just focused on mainly his on the field, which is the most important, which is the most important thing. But everything this kid brings off the court, off the field, man, I'm telling you, it's just a plus, bro. Win-win. So you'll get players all of a sudden.
The ironic thing about the ones who didn't want him and didn't realize the marketability of this kid are the same ones that are going out and buying jerseys and helping the marketability of this kid. The irony, my friend, the irony.
I agree.
So, and same thing goes for all the other people. They're the same ones. So 4 total, 2 Texans and 2 Cowboys, one now being revealed to be Ezekiel Elliott, tested positive for the coronavirus, bro. So I gotta ask you, is this not good moving forward for the NFL already? Because this is kind of timing wise, this isn't the best timing.
Bro, this is extremely concerning for me. We talked about this privately. This is not good for the, in terms of the season starting on time without any disruptions. And to be honest with you, bro, I don't see how really, I just don't see how they could. I mean, what are you going to do? Okay, it's a 16, 17-week season. How are they going to keep, are they just going to have the players just not have any kind of interaction with their families or friends during that, during the season? I mean, I really don't see how this, because at the end of the day, we can sit up here and say players, well, you have to be responsible, whatnot. We know the players are not going to do that. They're going to go out as the country is reopening. They're going to go out, they're going to live their lives, bro, and they're going to have exposure to infected individuals. And again, you're in the middle of a season. For example, you're in a playoff race. You have your star wide receiver, okay? You're in the middle of a playoff race. You have your star wide receiver in their downtime. He goes out, does whatever. He becomes, he's just living his everyday life, and he becomes exposed to an infected individual, and then he tests positive. All of a sudden, you got to shut him down for for an extended period of time. And I mean, that's just one example. But players are going to live. I just don't see how this is going to work.
My only thought is, bro, on how it could work is, so you got to kind of create a bubble. So what you have to do, to me, is you got to quarantine. You got to basically put the team just together for 2 weeks. And it kind of sucks because this might impact the family. But the only way I could see it is if you're going to have fans in the stands, which it looked like it might, you can only, I think, you can only have about 15,000 fans. And to me, you would have to start them halfway up the bleachers to the back. Hold on, I'm not done.
Oh, go ahead.
And then what you're going to have to do is you're going to have the thing is now, how are you going to handle the referees? Because you would have to put these referees in these bubbles with these players as well. And on top of that, what you would have to do is when you talk about the facility, like people who work at the actual facilities and who work at the arena, you would basically have to say no one can come in or around these players and the locker room area until every player has left the building. You can't even get valets bringing their cars up. It would have to be a season where there's way more independence on the players themselves than leaning on all these other people, because they won't be able to be around them when they're actually in the facility. That's the only way you can protect them.
I'm not concerned. My concern is not necessarily the fans on game day.
No, I'm talking about the players. This is how you're keeping the players healthy, by putting them in this bubble. You're keeping the fans away from them, and you're keeping all the workers away from them.
No, I'm talking about in their private life. That's what I'm talking about.
What I just said, I started this off where in these bubbles, you're basically going to have to pull them away from their families. They're going to What I'm saying is they're going to have to be in this bubble even when they're not playing.
Yeah.
So you're going to have them. You're going to have to basically rent out, or your owner owns, but you're going to have access to basically a hotel. Basically, buy the hotel out for the whole season and just have them in it. And then you do the 2-week quarantine thing with the workers in the hotel where they got to be put up in the hotel now too, all the maids and everything like that. So they're not going out. You'd have to be really, really super strict, bro. Like, and if they go out, you got to go under a 2-week quarantine right away, and you can't come back in until that's done, basically.
Yeah. And I see, the WWE. I wonder how they're handling, what kind of plan they have in place, because they're on, their show they're still having live shows, but it's just no fans in the seats.
Yeah, All Elite Wrestling is doing the same too. And what they're doing instead of fans, they're using people from they basically created a bubble with wrestlers and stuff. Mm-hmm. And what they do is they test guys. They test them earlier in the day because I believe you get the results back in 4 hours. Mm. Okay. So they test them. If you pass it, you're allowed in. And then basically what they're doing instead of fans is they're putting out workers and wrestlers who aren't actually wrestling at the time, and they're surrounded. Those are the people. But you're seeing a lot of older performers are kind of staying away, et cetera, et cetera.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, it's going to be interesting to see what plan they actually have in place to as a remedy for the situation. But it's going to be tough, man. But I'm sure they have some solid plan in place.
What's the real instinct,
hopefully,
bro. And that's this Tom Pelissero tweet from earlier. And it's NFLPA Executive Director Jamori Smith said on a call today with agents that the union has had preliminary calls with the NFL on projections for the 2021 salary cap, and it's safe to say a season without fans would have at least a $3 billion impact on revenue. Mm. The collective bargaining states that the NFL and NFLPA must bargain in good faith if there's a significant revenue shortfall. Bargaining hasn't started, per Smith. Reminder, it's an 11-year CBA, so there's a ways to spread out any hit and ensure the cap doesn't take a 1-year dip. There's a projected figure. If they can't put fans in the stands, $3 billion loss on revenue is the projected hit.
Ooh, that's a lot of money, bro.
Bro, that's like what the NHL makes in a season, probably double.
That's a lot of money. Yeah, man. Yeah, it looks like everybody's.
That's why I say, bro, without fans, they're gonna find a way to make it work because they're not gonna lose. Yeah. They're not gonna lose that TV money, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So.
And let's be honest, bro.
That's their bread and butter anyway.
If there's no fans, those Super Bowl ads this year are going to be sold at a premium.
Oh,
because there's going to be all those fans that won't be able to be there. So, yeah, that's going to be that's quite interesting to me, bro. That's a lot
billion.
Of cake.
Wow. Yeah, no doubt,
bro. That's
they don't want to lose that TV money is their bread and butter, though.
Yeah,
I think that generates the most revenue for them. So, but yeah, again, I'm sure they have a plan in place to where that $3 billion loss isn't as catastrophic for everyone.
Yeah, I want to see what the revenue is without the fans. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What's the projected revenue even without the fans? You lost $3 billion, but what are you still making $2 or $3 billion anyways? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, overall, I think they generated 19 billion total last year, the league as a whole.
So there you go.
The numbers were
on that's 15 to 16 million you're still making.
Yeah. They're not starving, bro.
That TV money.
They're not starving, bro. So
good LA nights and good.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to watch football. Without fans in the stands, though, bro. No more. Yeah, it'll be interesting to pay attention to, because fans in football, I think, in terms of giving the home team a tangible advantage, that crowd noise is something else, bro.
Thank God we got that Miami Heat to make up for that noise.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But that fan noise, bro, for for home teams, that is a clear advantage for them. Like, the Dome in New Orleans and, Arrowhead Stadium and, Foxborough, all these stadiums, bro, that have those crazy, crazy crowds. And it's clearly a decided advantage. We see it every year. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. What kind of impact will that have on the game? You know what I mean? But I just want football. I mean, having the fans in the stand, it really doesn't matter to me. But I just want football, period. So
Jakeem Grant's still out here looking like a beast, bro.
I know, man. I see him. I see you, homie. I see you.
This man was not joking when he said return or no more. Look at the cut. Ew.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
This man's putting in the work, bro. You love to see it too, man.
And again, Reason, this never was a question with Jakeem Grant. It's can he stay on the field? That's the problem. You know what I mean? Can his body absorb them hits, them consistent hits for 16 weeks? That's the problem. Yeah. Jakeem Grant, his work ethic has never been in question. And that's another reason why I think this staff, this front office, gave him, awarded him that contract. Because, number one, his ability, his crazy crackhead type speed, his ability and his work ethic, that never was a concern, which warranted a further investment. But man, he can't stay on the field, bro. That's his issue. So
Rhino's right. Rhino is right. Separation from the line of scrimmage at times does become an issue for him for sure.
Oh well, yeah. Well, that's his size and his hand placement is he's been undisciplined in his hand placement at the line of scrimmage, but his biggest issue has been his durability. So
love to see him put in the work though continuously.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Good to see him, Devontae Parker. I really would like to see what these other guys are doing as well. I would really like to see where Preston Williams is in terms of his rehabilitation and how.
We saw a video from Exon where he's at from his injuries. From his East Coast.
You see how rocked up he is, bro. Xavier Howard.
Yeah.
Oh my God, bro. That dude looks like a linebacker, man.
Yeah, that's true.
But I want to see where Preston Williams is. That's the guy I want to see. So hopefully we'll see, some videos will surface of him that way we can get an accurate assessment of where he is.
Yeah, we're trying to see how he can make cuts right now. Yeah, we're trying to see
exactly. But I did read reports though that he was ahead of schedule. So, but reading an article and actually seeing him on tape is two totally different things. So, yeah, I want to see him. So
I agree. So, an interesting article came out today, bro. I mean, I found it pretty interesting. I'm going to bring it up right here for everyone to see. So, it's kind of crazy when you put things into perspective, guys. With the trade for Tunsil, what we've been able to replace him with, et cetera, et cetera. And this came out under the Palm Beach Post today. And when you add in all the free agent signings, the rookie contracts, again, Robert Hunt hasn't been signed. Either has Noah Igbinoghene, but Robert Hunt hasn't. So as it stands today, Laramie Tunsil is scheduled to make $22 million in his first year. Guys, with Garrett, Flowers, the rookie contracts with like Austin Jackson that's been signed, and Solomon Kinley and such. Tunsil scheduled to make $22 million per season. Right now, without Robert Hunt, our whole offensive line has a cap hit of $24 million. So what do you think about that, EM, in terms of not only the capital we got back, but now that you can put in perspective that our whole O-line basically costs only $2 million more than Laramie Tunsil?
Well, first off, I love Tunsil as a player. I loved him, while he was down here in Miami. But it just tells me that was the right move to make at the end of the day. The capital, the return we got in the trade, 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, alone validated that trade. And the fact that we were able to obtain all of these other through free agency, in addition to the draft, we were able to remake our entire offensive line, just really based off that trade. Because if we hang on to Laramie Tunsil, we don't have the capital in return, and we can't, we can't sign your, all these other pieces, really, to be honest with you. So at the end of the day, I think it was the right move to make. I hate it. I love Laramie Tunsil as a player, but $20 million, what is he making? 22 million?
And basically we have 14 million. We have 14 offensive linemen under contract right now for 24 million at the moment.
Oh yeah, exactly. So it was, at the end of the day, bro, it was the right move to make. Right move to make. We were able to totally remake our offensive line in the image that Brian Flores, in the vision that Brian Flores has for our offensive line. And yeah, man, love Tunsil as a player, but it was just the right move at the end of the day, reason. From a financial standpoint and
from a body count standpoint, 14 players for the
Exactly. We were able, in one off season, based off that trade, we were able to remake our entire offensive line in one off season, really. So it was the right move to make at the end of the day.
And here's hoping the Texans so we get Penei Sewell so we can continue remaking.
Yeah. But see, that's the pick this year. That's the pick that could, oh man, this trade, if they wind up picking in the top 5, I'll say the top 5.
Buddy,
not necessarily 1 or 2.
If we
get
Noah Igbinoghene, because that's what their pick was, right? Noah Igbinoghene once we traded back.
Mm-hmm.
If we get Noah Igbinoghene and Penei Sewell, who I've been on the record for the last 6-7 months again saying he's the best tackle I've ever seen on film.
Mm-hmm.
If we get him, the cap alleviation, and Noah Igbinoghene for Laramie Tunsil, Chris Greer should be given a Nobel Peace Prize, bro.
That if we get if that pick turns out to be really even a top 10 pick, in addition to the players that we were able to sign through free agency, and that pick turns out to be top 10 next year, that'll go down as one of the most lopsided trades in the history of the NFL, to be honest with you. If all these pieces that we were able to obtain for him actually turn out, and play well or whatnot. But they need to have a 30 for 30 at some point, because that'll be one of the most lopsided trades, bro, in the history of the NFL, to be honest.
Yeah, and they'll be stuck with a $22 million per season receipt for the guy too, on top of giving all that capital.
Exactly.
And let's be honest, EM. And you said, you told me yesterday you started to watch a little bit on this kid, because I've been talking about him way too much. Joe Blow right now, the top pure right tackle that wouldn't transition from left tackle to right tackle, I have is Abraham Lucas. But I would transition Penei from left tackle to right tackle. Anyways, so EM, you said you started to watch this kid because I've been banging the drum for him for so long. Bro, are you telling me already at this stage it wouldn't be easier to say, okay, one day I'm going to pay this? It would be an easier pill to swallow to say, okay, one day I'm going to pay that kid $22 million, as opposed to, okay, I got to pay Tunsil $22 million right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think Tunsil, up the year he came out, Tunsil, in terms of his talent level, the grade on him, a lot of people had him being as the best talent.
He was my top tackle in that draft.
Yeah, he definitely was a top tackle, but a lot of people were considering him to be the top guy, period, overall. And as talented as Tunsil was coming out, this kid here, man, because see, I give him, he's so dominant, obviously in the passing game, but he's equally as dominant in the run game. But Tunsil, always the knock on Tunsil excelled at pass protection more so than he did. I mean, he never was a liability in the run game, but you didn't get that same production that you got with Tunsil from a pass protection standpoint. This kid is equally as dominant. I mean, 300 in the number one. Tunsil is about another thing as well. Tunsil goes about what, 310 to 315ish maybe. This kid is 330. You know what I mean? And moves like he moves like he's 280. I can't wait to see this kid's combine numbers. Oh my God. I can just imagine what his combine numbers are going to be. But this kid, I mean, he's a dancing bear, really, to be honest with you. He's a dancing grizzly bear. And again, I know we went back and forth about I know we went back and forth about the possibility of us, if that Texans pick winds up being in the top 5 and we have the opportunity or top 2 or 3, and we have the opportunity to potentially either trade out or select him at some point. I was in favor of trading out, but I don't know, man. This kid is a prospect. Oh my God, the more tape I watch on this dude,
I think he's going to be.
He looks the part, bro.
He's the best. He's the best. Not only is he the best player in this draft, like I said on the phone with you yesterday, I think he has the potential to be at least the best player drafted in the last decade. I think he's the best tackle prospect since Orlando Pace. So I think this guy is an absolute freaking stud, bro. And yeah, man, I would be doing cartwheels if we got a kid like that, bro. Cartwheels. Absolute cartwheels. That's an A++.
He looks the part. He definitely looks the part, bro.
All right, so Omar Kelly put out a tweet today, bro, just regarding Tua being at the facilities for the first day. As we noted on our stream yesterday, he moved to South Florida on Saturday officially. He made the move. So I got a couple of excerpts from that article that I wanted us to go over here. First one being, team doctors and trainers now have access to Tagovailoa because of the loosened restrictions the NFL imposed on every team during the COVID-19 outbreak. Executives and coaches have been allowed to return to team facilities with capacity limited to half the staff. And team trainers and therapists have been rehabbing injured athletes for nearly a month now, according to team sources. Monday was Tagovailoa's first session with the Dolphins, who have been anxiously anticipating getting him into the building to see how he's progressed from the injury themselves. And you remember we showed you guys the quote from Kevin Wilkes yesterday about how he stated that he was basically doing miraculously well. So, yeah, are you betting? If you're a betting man, do you think that's exactly what the Dolphin doctors saw today when they finally got another look at him for the first time in a few months?
Oh, absolutely. And again, I know they're this article, they're putting it out there that this was the first time they've gotten their hands on him. That's nonsense, bro. I think they've had an opportunity all along to really get a good assessment of where Tua was.
Well, it already came out that they were allowed to do the re-checkup in Indianapolis, that we were given an okay by the NFL. And remember, we got in there. So I mean, yeah.
Yeah. So this is just more confirmation where he is in terms of his what stage he's at in terms of his rehabilitation. It's encouraging. Another encouraging article, encouraging information about him. He seems to be progressing ahead of schedule. That is very good. Again, we talked about this on, the last stream or the stream before, whenever that was. Yeah, man, it's just all good news, bro. It's just everything is moving along on schedule. And yeah, just encouraging news, bro. I'm not surprised. I'm ecstatic. And yeah, we just need to get him as healthy as he possibly can be.
Another part of that article, the other excerpt I found very interesting. Tell me, guys, where you've heard this before. The biggest knock on Tagovailoa's talent comes from his former coach, Nick Saban, who acknowledges he needs to learn how to throw the ball away to avoid injuries like the one that led to his hip being surgically repaired last November. not progression. It's not footwork. He needs to stop overextending plays. According to a team source, EM, this is the interesting part. Some inside the organization believe the best approach for the rookie quarterback is to have Tagovailoa not participate in any drills that involve contact for a full year, with the hopes that the extra time given the heel will help decrease the odds of hip issues returning and allow him to have a long and healthy NFL career. The Dolphins' decision makers will likely build their plan based on what doctors and trainers report back to them this week and in the coming weeks. So that would be what? So that would be so his last contact that he took in the injury was November.
It was in November. Yeah.
So
and that's really
you're not going to bring him in the dead heat in November because you're either going to be in it and winning, or you're going to be losing, and the season's basically going to be a write-off.
But look, Reason, the ideal approach to Tua, and I think we were both in agreement on this, was to take a page out of what the Kansas City Chiefs did with Patrick Mahomes. They didn't insert him into the lineup until December, I believe, in that Denver game in December, I believe. So, with that being said, I mean, that's the ideal approach that, we all agree that that's the best approach with Tua. Yeah, I agree 100%. But again, it's going to be hard if this kid is healthy. Okay, I know they said that that'd be the ideal scenario, but if their doctors are clearing him, the Dolphins, Miami's doctors are clearing him, and this kid is just absolutely decimating the quarterback room, it's going to be very difficult to leave that kid on the bench, bro. So, again, like I said, I'm comfortable with either scenario. I think, my first approach and the most ideal approach, obviously, is to wait, get him healthy, take the same approach the Kansas City Chiefs do with Patrick Mahomes. But on the other hand, bro, I'm comfortable as long as he's healthy. If the doctors clear him, okay, they give him a clean bill of health, I'm comfortable with the other scenario as well. So, yeah, that it's going to be interesting, Reason. It's going to be very interesting, this story. So we'll see, man.
It's going to be, because like I said, if they get their doctors in, they get their other reports, and their doctors basically come back and say, listen, this kid's almost at 100%, and he's not going to get any more healthier than 100%. You know what I mean? Then you're up that creek where they're like, oh, it's what they're saying. Okay, well, yeah, we're going to wait for him to get there until they give him full clearance. But basically what the medical staff is going to say, once we give him full clearance based on his health and what we see, there is no level of clearance above full clearance. That's as good as it gets.
Right.
Once you're fully cleared for contact, there's no other level to that. Mm-hmm. So that comes to me where – we've heard a lot of pundits starting to talk about this in terms of, even Bruce Arians, what good are you going to learn if you're just holding a clipboard? The whole thing is, I think what it's going to come down to is if he doesn't get full clearance till November, it's just going to basically be, I think you can write the season off. I wouldn't even bother. If he's fully cleared before the preseason even starts, then and this is not my want or desire, this is just my objective opinion, it's going to be all bets are off. It's going to be a bet where, hey, Ryan, if you screw up those first two games, Tua right there, just waiting and salivating to take your job. And he's 100%, et cetera, et cetera. So it's all going to come down to when he gets full clearance. That's what, if I hear in 2 weeks this kid's got fully cleared and checked out, or, if I hear that in a month, basically, if I hear that before the preseason starts, I'm going to say all bets are off. Because they can have him running drills and they can have him running plays with the first team offense in non-contact. right? Like even in high school, right? Even in college, quarterback doesn't get hit in practice.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting, my friend.
Mike Pellegrino.
Very interesting. What do you say?
I'm putting it up here right now.
Yeah. Oh. But if his rehab is prolonged, and for some reason, he might need that full year. That full year to November to heal up. Where does that? I mean, what do we do with Josh Rosen at that point? That's an interesting situation that the Dolphins are in, bro. I know we all agree that Rosen is nowhere near in the long-term plans, unless he comes out and he has a Kurt Warner type season, which I think is highly unlikely. That's an interesting situation the Dolphins are in terms of. What do you do with Josh Rosen?
The only similarity Josh Rosen will ever have to Kurt Warner is that Kurt Warner, before he became an NFL star, was stocking grocery shelves, and after the NFL, Josh Rosen is going to be stocking grocery shelves. That's the only similarity.
Oh my God! But I mean, all seriousness, that's an interesting situation. What do you do with Rosen? I mean, are you that confident in Jake Ruddick? I think
Joe B said. I think his original was he's going to get fired because he can't read receipts.
Yeah. Wow. Oh my God, that's crazy. But I think the Dolphins, at the end of the day, in terms of Josh Rosen, I think at the end of the day, they would be comfortable. I think the fact that Jake Ruddick is still on the roster and they gave him an extension, a future contract. I think the Dolphins are firm in their evaluation on him. I think they're comfortable with him as a backup, I believe. In terms of Josh Rosen not offering you much more than he will, if he's in a situation where he has to start, if Fitzpatrick goes down. So, yeah, I think the upside with now Josh Rosen is slightly more talented than what Jake Ruddick is, I think, in terms of arm strength. But the other aspects of the game are on par as far as I'm concerned. But it's still an interesting situation. What do they do with Josh Rosen? I think the Dolphins, to be honest with you, they're just in a situation where they're just trying to recover, as much as their second-round investment that they made on him. Obviously, they're not getting a second-round pick for him, but I think they're just trying to recover as much as they gave up. So,
all right. So the Dolphins currently have $28,082,621 in cap space without Hunter Igbenogany signed. So that's about $5 million between the two of them. So they'll be around $23-22 million after they're signed.
Mm-hmm.
Since he's still out there, since it's pretty clear after we're talking about, if in case everyone didn't know, the Philadelphia Eagles, they're starting right guard today. He tore, I believe it was his Achilles. Was it his Achilles?
Yeah.
And he's out for the season. So basically, you could probably kiss Larry Warford goodbye because he'll probably be a Philadelphia Eagle. So since he's still out there, since apparently the Browns are still interested and Seattle is still interested, should the Dolphins sign Jadeveon Clowney to a one-year deal if they have $22 or $23 million in cap left over after they sign Hunt and Igbenogany? And I want to know, not only from you, I want to know from everyone in the chat, with $22 or $23 million left after they're going to sign Hunt and Igbenogany, should they sign Jadeveon Clowney, considering Warford's probably going to Philadelphia? But yours.
Abso-freaking-lutely, they should. They should definitely entertain this, this player. There was a high level of interest in him going back to the Laramie Tunsil trade. Obviously, there was a high level of interest in him this offseason. even with the additions of Ogbah and Shaq Lawson, you add a Jadeveon Clowney to this linebacking core. Oh my God, can you imagine? Oh man, that would be. I think we've talked about the potential.
And he can play all around the front three too.
Oh, absolutely. We talked about the potential of this defense in terms of rankings, overall rankings. If you insert Jadeveon Clowney, into this defense, bro, we're top 5. There's no question about it. This kid, I mean, we've seen him how much of a disruptor he is when he was at Houston, and we saw it on full display last year with Seattle. He has scheme familiarity. He played his first 4 seasons in Houston, and they deployed basically the same defense, a lot of the same New England concepts. The versatility, we're aware of his skill set. This kid, they should absolutely entertain the idea of bringing him in. I'd be all over this kid. So
even at the fact that he's basically turned us down twice.
Oh, absolutely, bro. Absolutely. Are you kidding? And I give him, look, I'm sitting there on the table and I'm saying, here's $15 million for 1 year. For 1 year. Here's $15 million, bro. 1 year. Absolutely. I don't even know what we're talking about. This kid, you put him day one, you insert him into this defense with the other additions we made, bro, we have totally knocked this offseason out of the park. Top 5 defense all day. Top 3 secondary all day. If they get a player like him, if they get Jadeveon Clowney, the AFC East is ours, bro. It's ours for the taking. So, yeah, man, we're this kid here. I would absolutely entertain this. $15 million, here you go for 1 year. I don't even know what we're talking about.
Yeah, I think for 1 year, for sure, because I think
1 year.
When you look at the havoc, when you add him to this line, what that's going to wreak on a Stidham, a Josh Allen, his escapabilities. All of a sudden, that pocket gets narrowed with a guy like Jadeveon Clowney added to that line. When you look at Sam Darnold, if you thought he was seeing ghosts last year, what's he going to see this year? Because when you look at the fact that they have Byron, Igbenogany, Nick Needham, and we'd have Xavier Howard locking down 1, 2, 3, 4 guys, and then you add in the pressure we'd be put in the pocket, we'd be pushed, we'd be getting from our linebacking core in the front 3. I really think I do agree with you because of the quarterback situation in terms of how young and how underdeveloped a guy like Allen is with his accuracy, how Darnold is right now with his reads and how he handles pressure instead of getting panicky. In terms of Stidham, his 3rd or 4th throw last year when he came in was an interception basically to nowhere. And it's going to be his first year taking the reins. So if you really want to get to those guys, if you want to really shake them to their core and be a real problem to those quarterbacks when they line up against you, I think he is that big of a difference maker if you add him to what we put together.
And we talked about, Preston Williams in particular yesterday on how we could, or the day before, on how we could with the improvement of talent which around him, how that'll benefit him where teams can't necessarily scheme him out of consistently. They can't scheme him out of the game consistently because of the improved talent around him. Can you imagine if we get Jadeveon Clowney, teams are scheming to stop Jadeveon Clowney. No disrespect to Emmanuel Ogbah, Shaq Lawson, or anybody else, Raekwon Davis of the world. No disrespect to those gentlemen. But if we get a player like Clowney, the teams are scheming to stop him. And what that does is his presence makes everything a lot easier with every other player in our front 7 in terms of their potential of being matched up one-on-one consistently. So you're going to see Christian on paper now, in theory, you're going to see Christian Wilkins, his production go up. Your Raekwon Davises, your Emmanuel Ogbahs, whoever. Everybody else in the front seven. On the defensive line.
Well, think about
on
it.
Paper.
Think about Ogbah coming off of one side and Clowney coming off of the other. Who are you doubling?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Clowney, but then Ogbah's going to feast.
You can't double everybody. So absolutely, bro. Now, I mean, his value, and again, Clowney's ability to disrupt the quarterback is going to help the secondary as well. We all know how good we on paper the secondary looks, but can you imagine a player that's as disruptive as Jadeveon Clowney in terms of getting to the quarterback? How beneficial that's going to be for our back end, bro? Oh my God, $15 million. Here you go, Mr. Clowney, for 1 year, and it's not going to blow our cap up. I saw somebody in the comments said it's going to blow our cap up for next year. No, it's not. That money is immediately coming off the books next year. Immediately, as soon as the season's over with, that $15 million comes off the books.
Well, and the other thing is, when you got Raekwon, Strobridge, even a guy like Curtis Weaver, they see how that guy prepares game.
Exactly.
So you hope a guy like Clowney can rub off on those rookies.
Exactly.
If they see how he prepares, let alone how he plays on the field once game day starts, right?
Absolutely. You'll see how this kid, because one thing about Clowney, he's always been about his work and his work ethic. That's never been in question with him.
Yeah, let's be honest. I mean, you could get into a situation too where if he pops off, he could make Shaq Lawson that contract expendable in year 2, so you could make room to sign.
Exactly, bro.
So
love Shaq Lawson, love Emmanuel Ogbah. No disrespect to none of those gentlemen. Huge fan of them, but they ain't no Jadeveon Clowney, bro. Sorry, they ain't no Jadeveon Clowney. This kid here, bro, if we get him, I'm telling you, $15 million should get that done. $15 million, here you go. For 1 year. In the AFC East, I promise you, the AFC crown will reside in South Florida. I promise you, there will be no way. I will be flabbergasted, bro. If we obtain, really, to be honest with you, I think the AFC East crown is ours right now, to be honest with you. But if with the addition of Clowney, this is a championship caliber defense. Championship, NFL, Super Bowl caliber defense with the addition of a player like Clowney. In the depth that this creates on our front seven, the depth. Oh my God, Rosen, are you kidding me? They should definitely entertain this, the potential of signing a player with this ability. Absolutely, man. I don't know what they wait. I hope they are seriously considering this. I hope this is actually something that's on the table and they're considering this. I really do.
Yeah, because you've been wanting him for a while.
Oh, yeah, he was day one for me. Well, that's until he said his asking price was $20 million. And I was like, oh, that gave me real reason to pause, bro. $20 million, I don't know about that. But since that price tag is, somewhat, it's come down significantly from 20 to what I think he's at, 17 now? $15 million should get it done because he ain't getting 17 from anybody else, I don't think. So 15
right now,
done.
Right now it sounds like the Browns and the Seahawks are like the ones leading away when it comes to contention for his signature. So
15 should get it done.
So SI.com, again, Alan Prepare, he basically ranked the AFC rosters by position, bro. And they had been ranking every position in the AFC East over the past several weeks. And he just says here, we have ranked every position in the AFC over the past several weeks. The composite results showed the Bills as having clearly the best roster in the division, with the Patriots and Miami Dolphins in the next tier, and the New York Jets clearly lagging. So let's get into it. So for quarterback, he has Miami number 1, Buffalo 2, New England 3, the Jets 4. He says at this point, Josh Allen is the best quarterback in the division, though that could change if Jarrett Stidham proves the real deal in New England or if Tua Tagovailoa lights it up when he gets in the lineup the way he did in Alabama. But Buffalo and the Jets do not have an ideal backup situation, and that factors in. Fair or unfair, Stidham gets a little bit of the benefit of the doubt because of Belichick's track record and the idea that if Stidham is good enough for him, that's got to count for something. But unless Tua absolutely can't play as a rookie because his hip isn't ready, there's no team in the division that can match the Dolphins' 1-2 setup. Running back, he has us all the way down. We are ranked by SI all the way down at number 4, with New England at 1, Buffalo at 2, the Jets at 3, us at 4. And I mean, he talks about Le'Veon Bell. I was kind of surprised about
Overrated.
that. But
overrated. I'm surprised as well.
But I'm not surprised by Buffalo because I have been telling everyone Devin Singletary, and now they've added Zach Moss. That is a good 1-2 punch. I actually think us and them are the best running back combos in the AFC East. But so for tight end, we actually ranked number 2. Buffalo was 1, Miami was 2, New England was 3, and the Jets were 4. I mean, Gesicki did have a strong finish. Talks about how Dawson Knox has the makings of an impact player for Buffalo, the way Josh Allen was utilizing them. When we look at New England, they drafted 2 rookies. So we're going to see how that kind of works out. Wide receiver, though, we were right there again, number 2. Buffalo was number 1. I don't know you agree with that, eh?
Yeah. I would say this. I would put us number 1. I think Buffalo with the addition of Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I would have it flipped.
Yeah. I'd put Buffalo, number 2, but
because I will take a healthy Devontae Parker over a Stephon Diggs, and that also plays into that factor too is who's throwing the football to them.
Exactly, and also I think depth-wise, we're much deeper at that position.
I agree too. That's why I would have us number 1 too, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Offensive line. He had Buffalo 1, New England 2, the Jets 3, and us at 4. He said the Dolphins have made up some ground since last year, and the hope is that at some point in the near future, they'll move up in these rankings. I'm basically indicating that it's more because we have more of an unproven line together.
Yeah, it's hard to argue that, considering how bad we were last year and the uncertainty of the player, even though we remade our offensive line, they still need time to gel and develop that continuity. So it's hard to argue that as much as I would love to, but I just don't have much of a case, bro. So
for defensive line, again, we ranked 4th with Buffalo at 1, the Jets at 2, New England at 3, and us at 4. Again, you got to believe that's based off of so many new faces we brought in. It's so unproven. Second year of the 3-4 scheme. What are your thoughts on that?
I can understand Buffalo. Okay, Buffalo. They're even with go back reason. I'm sorry. Go back to D-line.
Yeah, because they added Mario Addison and AJ Epinesa to that line, right?
Yeah, they're loaded up front. I can understand Buffalo, but the Jets, bro, they lost Leonard Williams. They traded him. And New England, with the players that they lost on their defensive line,
you got to put this up to the fact that we have so many new faces and they haven't seen us come together.
I agree.
That makes sense.
Yeah. With that being said, I agree. Okay, but still, I think our overall talent, just on the defensive line, should warrant a number 2 ranking, bro. To be honest with you, because I think Buffalo slightly might be more talented.
And you got to remember, a lot of those sacks come from our outside linebackers in our 3-4, whereas in 4-3, those edges count as part of the defensive line and they get the sack. So we're at a disadvantage there too, right?
Yeah.
Because again, we talk all the time about how the media, how the standard they hold sacks at, right? Especially when it comes to defensive line.
I agree. And then, I'm sure Christian Wilkins is coming off a rookie season. He was somewhat inconsistent last year. He has a high ceiling. We talked about that yesterday, but he was inconsistent. And I get it. But I just think with the additions, I think with the additions, even with the uncertainty of how all these pieces are going to fit, I still think we want just the overall talent level should warrant, a number 2 ranking. But we'll see.
Linebacker we did a little dirty too because they got us all the way down at 3. They got Buffalo at 1, the Jets at 2, Miami at 3, New England at 4.
I can't argue. I can't make that argument again with Buffalo.
No, but I think setting number 2 is
right. I was gonna get to 2, but can't make that. I don't think at this point we can't make that argument with Buffalo. Their linebacking core is loaded as well. Tremaine Edmonds, I think he's going to be a flat out stud moving forward. But the Jets, come on, man, really?
Putting a lot on CJ Mosley, huh?
Yeah, I mean, he can't stay on the field, bro. Really. And I think we've seen the best days of CJ Mosley. We've seen his best days. Yeah, bro.
Yeah, it says right here, you can tell, though the Jets have a lot of potential here if CJ Mosley and Avery Williamson come back to full form. When you look at what our linebacking core and what we're going to put out there, you can't rank them higher than us based on if they get back to, because we've upgraded that position too much. Like, I think the Kyle Van Noy signing alone propelled us to number 2.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And not including the fact that
I think
the depth we've added, whereas Weaver's going to be technically an outside linebacker in the draft. When you look past guys like Emmanuel Ogbah, that's going to be lining up as an outside linebacker too, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
that's technically D line in a 3-4 alignment. But I mean, in terms of like, traditional
but
linebackers,
they're separating it here. They talked about how they're separating it here.
Oh, okay. But yeah,
here, the Bills are a 4-3 alignment for the most part, while the other 3 only use 3 linemen.
Right.
They talked about that in the defensive linemen.
Yeah, I get it. But yeah, we should be number 2, bro.
What about with the secondary?
Definitely. I think our depth, I mean, you have Tre'Davious White.
Buffalo's 2, we're 3, the Jets are 4.
I'm going to address Buffalo. Buffalo has they've got Tre'Davious White, who's tremendous. But I think our overall depth again, I'm sure they might be taking in consideration where Xavier Howard is as far as his issues with his knees.
Yeah, but they just use Mosley and Williamson getting back potentially to full form.
Well, yeah, that is true. Yeah, that is true.
The Jets.
That is true.
And then here they kind of knock it.
You can make a legitimate argument with the New England Patriots because they had the number 1 secondary last year.
Yeah.
With the Buffalo Bills, I don't see it. Other than Tre'Davious White, I mean, our overall depth blows, far exceeds what Buffalo has to offer, bro. You have Tre'Davious White, and who else? So I don't get that one. I really don't get that one. So.
And you think the Jets are right where they should be, obviously.
Oh, absolutely.
Even with Jamal Adams?
Absolutely.
And Ashton Davis?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I mean, when you look, the thing is probably their safety position, because you're talking about Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde, so their safety position is pretty solid, bro.
Yeah, solid, but again, they're safeties.
The whole secondary, not just corners, right?
Right. I get it, but I think their safety combination, okay, it's solid, but I think the overall talent in our as far as cornerbacks are concerned, and especially how we deploy them.
Basically, on the corners, they basically have Tre'Davious White. They signed Josh Norman. And they got that Levi Wallace kid.
It's garbage. And they're a zone-based team anyway, bro.
Yeah.
To be honest with you. We're obviously.
But I will say Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde are two pretty solid safeties.
Yeah. They're good zone safeties. Yeah, I would say that. I would agree. But I just think our overall talent is better than anybody else, with the exception maybe the Patriots.
So special teams. We're number 1, bro.
Man, are we really going to talk about special teams? Really? Really? Are we gonna talk about special teams?
Hey,
Do we have to?
We got hit up at number 1. We got hit up at number 1, bro. Don't hate the player, hate the game, bro.
Yeah. Whatever. I hear you. Yeah.
So let's get into the topic of the video in terms of which free agents, because we each have one that we think will have the biggest year 1 impact. And for you, it's really no surprise to people that have been listening. You're on the Byron Jones train as having the biggest impact in year 1.
Absolutely. I've been consistent about him, even though Emmanuel Ogbah is my favorite. I think because, again, this is a team that prioritizes the secondary over everything else. You can just based off we're not going to even dig into the schematics, but just based off the investment that they made, okay, with Byron Jones in addition, and invest in a first-round pick on a cornerback. The priority has and always will be the secondary. Again, I know it rubs people the wrong way about the consistent New England comparisons, but again, you can't get around that. That's where Coach Flores, earned his bones. You can't get around that. That's just the nature of the NFL. So, but Byron Jones in particular, his talent level, his ability to coverage at an all-pro level, his ability to erase the opposing offense's first option, their number 1 option, that just gives you tremendous, and I can't emphasize that. I can't wait until we dig into our, until we get into our defensive show about how, and I'm going to highlight how he's going to be implemented on the diagram, how, he's going to be implemented and in how beneficial that is to the overall secondary. It just gives you so much of flexibility. You can just mix and match accordingly based off the strengths of the offense. And again, going back to, another New England comparison, I look at your Stephon Gilmores of the world. Look at the ability that he has. He's considered the best in the business at this point. Look at how much flexibility that he brings, that he's able to give Bill Belichick in terms of his defending opposing offenses, bro. Singling him up, him erasing the team's number 1 guy, okay, consistently from week to week, on a week-to-week basis. From a man-to-man standpoint, it just gives you so many options, bro. And again, that is going to help the overall defense, obviously, because, if you're taking away a team's first read, the quarterback has to hang on to that longer, another second and a half. And Xavier Howard is going to take away the second guy. And then again, you can double if you're in, depends on what kind of formation the offense is throwing at you. I'm just going to use a spread concept, as an example. You can double, like if we're playing, for example, if we're playing the Kansas City Chiefs, Byron Jones more than likely will draw the responsibility of Tyreek Hill, okay? More than likely. But if we opt not to do that, you can put Byron Jones on like their second guy, okay, which he's gonna more than likely he's gonna win that matchup throughout that game. You can put that double team again, and you go back to 2 years ago, the AFC Championship game. Look at how Bill Belichick and Brian Flores defended the Kansas City Chiefs. They put Stephon Gilmore on their second guy, which was Sammy Watkins, okay, and they doubled Tyreek Hill and they doubled Travis Kelce throughout that game. And you saw the overall impact that had on the, ultimately the outcome of the outcome of that football game. So again, but you cannot do that if you don't have one guy that can just consistently erase your number one or two options. And again, we're a team, zone teams can't do that. We're a man-to-man, we're a press-man team. And man concepts just gives you, in my opinion, so much more flexibility. If you have the guys that can cover consistently, because again, you have to have the guys that can cover. So man concepts just gives you more flexibility in terms of your formational deployment that you can throw at offenses. And again, but I'll say again, Byron Jones, we're well aware of what his talent level is. And if he comes in, if he's playing at an all-pro level that we've seen, and there's no reason to think he won't, I just think it just benefits overall the defense. And then on top of that, if we're consistently getting teams in 3-and-outs and, consistently 3-and-outs and 3-and-out, 3-and-outs, that's just more possessions you're giving back to your offense, which helps the team overall. So I just think Byron Jones, his talent level, warranted that kind of investment as far as his contract is concerned. And again, I knew that told me everything when the investment that they made in him, in addition to you bringing a first-round talent like Noah Igbinoghene, that told me what the approach of this season was going to be. The emphasis was going to be choking out and minimizing teams on first and second down, and the deployment of these four cornerbacks, not necessarily defensive backs, but corners on the field as much as possible. But again, the flexibility that Byron Jones allows defense, Brian Flores or our defensive coordinator, I think his value is just going to be tremendous, bro. And I think he'll ultimately have the most impact on our, all of the free agent signings that we brought in.
Yeah, because when we signed him, like I said, his ability to tackle alone made him the ideal scheme fit. He's one of those guys where he forces you into making tight window throws. If you catch the football, he's going to tackle you right away. So
absolutely, bro. Absolutely. Absolutely. He's phenomenal.
When you look at him last year in terms of the yak that he allowed, right? He didn't really he only allowed a total of 106 yards after the catch, and he only had one game where he allowed 20 or more yards after the catch. He had 5 games where he allowed 0 yards 0 yards after the catch. You're talking about a guy who, when you add on top of that, he had another 4 games where he allowed under 10 yards. You know what I mean? So he only allowed 106 yards after the catch all season last year. And that's kind of crazy when you put it into perspective that he had 41 tackles and he had 4 assists, but he only missed twice. So that right there shows you that people were catching the ball. As soon as they were making that catch, they were getting right down to the turf.
And also, Reason, I haven't even talked about his ability to transition to safety. You know what I mean? He's a natural safety. He came into this league as a safety.
Yeah, and he got moved. He got moved to corner because he was getting burned a little bit when he was at safety, though.
Well, I just think they want to take advantage of that athleticism, bro. I think. But his ability to transition to safety, again, he just gives you tremendous amount of value. I even saw statistics where he was lined up even as a nickel and dime linebacker at times, in Dallas last year, like 167. I forget the snap count that he lined up in that formation, but tremendous flexibility, tremendous versatility that he brings, bro. Immense value. We'll see it. You'll see it. I think we'll see it. We'll see it from day one.
So I got so last year he had 1,059 snaps.
Mm-hmm.
That's including special teams.
Mm-hmm.
So let's take special teams like kick coverage, kick return, punt return out. So 776 of those snaps came at the wide corner. 50 of those snaps came at the slot. 85 were in the box, and 6 were up on the defensive line.
Immense value. So, and again, And that should help. In theory, that should help Xavier Howard tremendously because he doesn't have that. He won't have that responsibility of taking on the opposing team's number one guy, like as we've seen in the past. Because I'm taking that if Xavier Howard is healthy and he's in Brian Flores opts to deploy Byron Jones in that, in that way. I'm taking it's all about his health, though. If Xavier Howard's healthy, I'm taking him matched up against any opposing team's second wide receiver all day, every day. So, again, it just helps everyone in the secondary, everyone. The safeties reads will be simplified because you don't have to worry about whoever he's matched up on his side of the field. I'm not saying you just have to disregard it, wherever he's aligned on the field, but you don't have to pay as much attention to him because 85-90% of the time he's going to win that matchup. So the safeties reads of the field, in terms of the reads of the field, will be somewhat simplified. Mm-hmm. So it just helps everybody. But again, you cannot have a player like that. You can't deploy these kind of concepts and principles and formations, your exotics, unless you have a player like that. And we have it. And maybe even two of them with Xavier Howard. But even the Pro Bowl year that Xavier Howard had, in terms of that press sticky man-to-man coverage, I didn't see him at the level of Byron Jones. Now Xavier Howard has better ball skills. I think his read, his awareness in terms of tracking the football is better than what Byron Jones's is. But if you're going by just man principles, bro, man-to-man ability, this kid is, he's top 2 or 3 all day. So, but yeah, I can't wait to see how they I can't wait to see that defensive deployment once the season starts.
All right, so my pick for the free agent that will have the biggest year one impact is going to be Emmanuel Ogbah. And that's because I don't think we've had a guy who's going to be able to set the edge like him for a couple of years now. I don't think we've had a guy who will be able to push the pocket back like he does for a couple of years now. I don't think we have a guy that's going to be able to generate the pressure like he'll be able to generate for a couple of years now. And another big reason why this sticks out for me too is, we talk about how they go hand in hand, right? Like the quicker they pressure, the less time the quarterback has to throw. Hopefully in that short time, Byron and Xavier have minimized those windows to as small as they can be. And everyone works hand in hand. Everyone works in unison. But why I think he's going to really actually stand out, bro, it's kind of more from a statistic basis in the sense of I think we're going to see the player that Cleveland thought they drafted and that KC thought they were going to see by the end of the season last year. I think, when you look at the fact he only played 10 games, he only had 27 total pressures. He had 17 hurries. He still was able to bat down balls. We tell all the people when you talk about what a defensive stop is, it constitutes a failure in the play. He had 21 stops last year. All to go along with his 5.5, 6 sacks. My thing is, I think you're going to see double-digit sacks. I think you're going to see about 45 to 48 pressures. I think you're going to see about 25 to 30 hurries. And I really think you're going to see in terms of stops, I think you're going to see this guy hover around 30, 35 stops just by himself, bro. I think, Byron Jones or Emmanuel Ogbah would be my picks, but I went with Emmanuel Ogbah to be different here. I think what's really going to stand out is not only are people going to say, wow, he had his best year as Miami Dolphins. Wow, it was a career year. But I think this guy's legitimately going to be in the running. If everything plays itself right, this guy's legitimately going to be in the running for the top sack getter in the AFC, bro.
That's a bold statement.
Man, I could see 12 to 14 sacks, no problem from him, bro. Yeah. Everything goes right. Now, what am I projecting? I'm projecting 10 to 12. I could 12 to 14, though. That wouldn't surprise me at one bit. And I think it's because When I look at what he had around him on the defensive side of the ball at Kansas City, when you look at the secondary, linebacking core, the line he played with, minus Chris Jones, I think we put not only better talent around him, but way more better talent around him. Like, I think he's surrounded by a plethora where, when Raekwon gets his feet under him, I think Raekwon in a couple of years is going to be a guy that's demanding double teams. You know what I mean? I think you're going to start seeing flashes of that this year. We talked about Wilkins, right, yesterday. One of the key highlighted things you put for Wilkins as one of your top 5 players under 25 was, again, because of all the talent that's around him, that's going to alleviate the situation for him and allow him just to play ball, not have to continuously worry about double teams. Well, I think the problem with Ogbah is, who are they going to double team, bro? They're going to double team him, Wilkins, Raekwon, Godchuk if we have him out there, Shaq Lawson if we have him out there and he's on. You know what I mean? Like, there's going to be I think there's going to be too many mismatches, especially with how we're building that interior, that I really believe Emmanuel Ogbah is going to feast. That's why this goes hand in hand with what I said when we signed him. If you go back to when we signed Emmanuel Ogbah, what have I said since day one? His camp called for the 2-year contract. Why? Because they know how much he's going to flourish in this defense. And I think if you said to me, we signed this guy and in 2 years he got 30 sacks and then 14 1 year, 16 next year, or 15 each year, and then he dipped off and got paid, I would say, yeah, that doesn't surprise me. And I really think that's what's going to happen. I think you're going to see around 25 or more sacks over 2 years. He's going to get paid, and then he's going to get paid. He's going to price himself out of Miami because I think, like Byron Jones, but just from a rushing perspective, I think like Van Noy, but not from a linebacker, but from an outside edge rusher, outside linebacker in a 3-4, if you want to say that, he is a perfect scheme fit. Like, I think him, Van Noy, and Byron Jones are such knocks out of the park because of how good of a scheme fit they are. And if this guy stays healthy, man, I don't think there's any stopping this guy, bro. I legitimately think this guy in 2 years is going to turn into a premier pass rusher in the NFL, bro.
I would say, obviously, when we signed him, I was on a record saying that this is my favorite signing. He's my favorite. But 2 issues why I think, in terms of his overall impact, why I favored Byron Jones is, number one, his durability concerns, because he's been dinged up ever since he came into the league. Mm-hmm. That's number one. 2, this, in terms of his sack total, I don't think, me personally, I'm not going to necessarily look at his sack and pressure total. And if he winds up with like 6.5, maybe 7 sacks next year, I'm not going to look at that as a negative.
Well, I just want him constantly pushing the pocket back.
Right.
Tackles, that's what I want.
Right. I hear you. And again, the scheme, this is not a defense that prioritizes individuals to generate, the most amount of pressure. It's a scheme.
This kid's athleticism, though, I think he's going to be the exception where, and I agree with you. That's one of the reasons why me and you talked about why we didn't want Chase Young. But the thing is, I think this guy is what if basically Chase Young, he's not as athletic as Chase Young, but he's very athletic. And I think this guy was, if Chase Young was a perfect scheme fit, you would have something around the lines of Emmanuel Ogbah, just as long as he can stay healthy. I mean, to be fair, in 2018, he was totally healthy, and in 2016, he was totally healthy. So
yeah, I think where his value will show up, the majority of his value will show up in the run game. I think. Again, so this is a scheme that the scheme dictates the pressure. That's been the deployment of, again, not to reference New England Patriots again, but you never see the Patriots, any one of their edge guys, wind up with double-digit sacks because they play press man, sticky man-to-man coverage on the back end, which forces obviously quarterbacks to hold on to the ball longer, and they're one of the more pressurized teams in terms of blitzing. You know what I'm saying? The Patriots are. So that's the same approach I think this staff is going to take next year. So,
but he's another guy too, though. He not only uses his athleticism, he uses his hand placement and
absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
he put up 22 tackles last year. He had 3 assists. He only missed 3, so he's a sure tackler, just like Byron Jones. But another thing is, when you look into the 21 stops, those majority of those came in the run game, right? Like I think that's why I said if Chase Young was a scheme fit, you would get, because the scheme fit calls for you to be competent in the run game. Emmanuel Ogbah would be along those lines of what you're looking for in terms of a guy who he's athletic, he can pin his ears back, and he can push the pocket back. He can collapse tackles outside shoulders. He can get to the quarterback, or you can ask him to be more than competent enough in the run game if he has to be. He's a very well rounded. I think a lot of people, and the thing is, a lot of people outside of the Miami Dolphins and the fans who have looked into him and who have researched him, or the people who knew about him before he came over here, you talk to those type of people, they say, yo, this kid looks like he has the potential. He's right there, that potential to break through the ceiling. But he's one of those players where people who know about him will say that, but there's a lot of people who don't know about him.
Yeah.
He's one of those when you look at underrated players in the NFL, he's one of those guys, and it's kind of self-inflicted. Of his 4 seasons, he's missed time because of injuries, right? So I think
next year.
I think this is his breakout year, bro.
It could be. I think I'm with you, bro.
We talk about all the time. We talk about Devontae Parker with the strength and conditioning program we had and how quickly we saw him turn around.
I agree.
Emmanuel Ogbah is another guy who can't.
I agree.
Right?
I agree. I'm with you. We're in agreement. But I think we'll see his value next year. It will be in the run game.
And that is one of the places we need value at.
Absolutely.
And that's how I started out.
Him and Shaq Lawson.
What was the first
He and Shaq Lawson.
When I started out this whole thing, the first thing I said is we haven't had a guy like this with his ability to set the edge in a long time.
Absolutely. Him or Shaq Lawson, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I just think as an overall package, Ogbah's much more complete than Shaq.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's the most talented edge player that we have. He's the only player that we have that's a dual threat in terms of how he's able to defeat tackles. He can beat you with speed, he can bend the edge, and also he can beat you with power. Nobody else has that ability on a roster, bro. So to the level that he is, this kid he's a very, very good athlete. But I'm with you. I'm with you 100%. That's my favorite guy, my favorite signing. I just think your ability concerns and overall scheme.
I even think anyone could make a case for Kyle Van Noy because of how big of a general he's going to be and how much guys are going to lean on him.
Where I think you'll see Van Noy's value, obviously his play on the field, but I think from a communication standpoint, that's where you'll see his value. Because last year we saw too many blown assignments. Guys were confused where they were supposed to be when they were supposed to be there. Exactly. People are not talking. They're sleeping on that aspect of his game, that value that he brings. And that won't be an issue next year.
And like I said, if I was going to make the case for him having the most impact in year one, that would have been the foundation of my case. But guys, smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't. If you'd like to donate to the channel, paypal.me/Phinside. I'm going to drop the link right now. And this link is specifically for Joe B and Ricketic. I want to hear from you two guys after your donation from yesterday because we're already at the hour and a half mark. It's 11:30 where I'm at right now. So I really don't want to get into a 3-hour show here. So I'm going to drop the link for Ricketic. Joe B, Ricketic, you dropped $100 US donation last night. We wanted you to get on, but you needed about 15 minutes and we were getting out of here. Joe B, you dropped a $65 donation yesterday. So hop on here. Anything you guys want to talk about? It's opened up. Let's do it. Again, let's keep it respectful as best as we can. But yeah, I've dropped the StreamYard link for you guys if you want to hop in.
And I don't want anybody else to think that we appreciate everybody's contribution to this channel. not just monetarily. All the support, y'all showing up every single show. We respect everybody the same. So, but I'd like to see a lot of the guys in the chat. Rhino, he needs to show his face. FM, Fake Spike, all of y'all. Y'all need to stop being shy, man.
FM says reason EM that Richmond Webb interview was awesome, guys. Looking forward to more interviews. Jason Taylor, Zach Thomas, Ricky Williams, future interviews. Yeah, we're working on some future stuff. We got some stuff that's going to be lined up. This Friday, guys, Friday night, we're going to bring Dante Colonelli back on the show from Blue Chip Scouting. He's also on Dolphins Brawl, and you can find him on Dolphins Talk. We're going to bring him on, and we're going to go over the running back situation for 2020 and how we think these guys are going to be deployed by the coaching staff. So that'll be a pretty good one that you guys are going to want to tune into. We'll give you some insight on the running back situation right now.
Absolutely.
I think Ricketic, I haven't seen Ricketic in the comments for a little bit.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I haven't seen Bill might be at work too.
Well, if they can't log on, anybody else is more than welcome to hop in here for a little bit. I really would like to see what, where everybody else's mindset is as far as our team, bro. So if they're not able to jump in, anybody else is more than welcome to hop on.
Havoc one earlier said, don't sleep on Mac, old guy. When it comes to channels, we've been some of the biggest Mackel advocate. In fact, our channel was the first channel where you heard the basic proclamation that he's going to become like Jason Sarney went on record and said that he believes he's going to win the gunner job. He's going to basically be our Darius Slater. So, yeah, man, we've already been on the Matt Cole bandwagon. I've already talked about that. If he doesn't crack the roster spot, he's at least going to make it on to special teams, and it was taken a bit further.
You hear this Troy Ortiz guy, EM not shy, just don't want to get into an argument about Rosen. Well, yeah, I hear you, man. I hear you. That's funny.
Rick, we've dropped the link if you want to hop on. Let us know in the comment section if you want to hop in.
Man, I tell you, still reason. I know we talked about, not to get into a Josh Rosen conversation, but man, I just don't understand why there's so much undying support for this kid when he's giving you absolutely nothing on the field, bro. I just don't understand.
People get caught up in the fact that the Arizona Cardinals not only took him at 10, but they moved up to take him at 10. So
I just don't understand, man. I just don't get it.
Ricketic, what's good, homie?
Rick, what's good, homie?
I think
what's good with you? Can you hear me? Can you hear us?
I got the fish tank.
Good, man. What's going on, man?
Hey, what's good with you?
What's happening, Big M?
Hey, I think we got the same T-shirt
I thought
on, bro.
I'd come on here today like this. Yeah.
Hey.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. I think we got the same T-shirt on, bro. I see you.
Am I muted? What's up?
No, we can hear you.
I don't know, homie. We can hear you. I don't know. We having technical issues.
Hold on a second.
Nope.
All right.
Can you hear us, bro?
Hey, hold on. Let me log out and log back in. I think we have technical.
All right, Rick, come back.
Where's Joe? Joe being shy, man.
Joe,
where you at, homie? I know, right? Joe, where you at, homie? I know I saw you in the comments earlier. His wife probably made him go to bed early. That's a good thing, though.
No, I think Vicken if you want to get on, all you do is click on the StreamYard, and it'll take you. If you have Safari, it might not work. So I recommend using Chromecast, something like that. Joe B, I haven't seen him since basically the beginning of this chat. I know he was here. He was under his Joe Blow account. So that's it. So we're just waiting for Ricketic to hop back on here. And I think here he is. There he is.
All right, I think I got it worked out.
You good?
Yeah.
What's going on, man?
What's happening,
homie? Hey, I see you. I see we got the same shirt on, bro, I think.
Yeah.
I see you, homie.
What do y'all say on the back, though?
Nothing on the back. I see you. I see you.
Mine is me.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Hey, but
What's good
y'all,
with you, man?
I've been doing good, man. How about y'all?
Oh, man, same here, bro. Can't complain, man.
Okay. All right. Well, first off, one, let me go ahead and apologize for being a little warm like I was the other day. You know what I mean? I had the event. I had to get that off my chest, but I'm glad that's in the past. It's over with now.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up.
But okay, so the topic that you guys had today was the best free agent acquisition, or who do we think is the best? I agree with you. I say it was Jones. A lot of people don't see him, excel in his game at all. I mean, a lot of people probably think that he's probably at his peak, but I don't think so. I think he'll go a little further because being around X, he might pick up on some of X's habits, and I can see him starting to learn how to actually catch the football and get more interceptions this year. I can see that. Maybe he's me, but that's something I definitely see.
Oh yeah, definitely. But to be honest with you, homie, I will be perfectly satisfied with his at the level he's been at. You know what I mean? If he can come in and just lock that opposing team's number one wide receiver down every week, bro, I'm good. I am good. So
yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right. But another thing too, though, something that I wanted to talk to you guys about. So like I told you before, well, I don't know if I said this in the chat or not. And as far as the chat goes, I see some of the crazy stuff y'all say or whatnot. But anyway, I like what y'all doing with this channel, and you know what I mean. Every time I log in and I listen to y'all, I always get that vibe that you guys are, just being 100% transparent. You know what I mean? There's no favoritism one way towards the other. You guys are completely objective with everything. You know what I mean? Like even if the team is screwing up, you guys are completely critical with the team. So things that I like investing in. So I don't know if you guys are down with this, but I kind of want to invest in the channel, like on a real level. You understand what I mean? Like help you guys have better production, all that good stuff. You understand what I'm saying?
Oh man, bro.
I want to see this channel grow.
That's greatly appreciated, bro. Man, bro, you see these tears, homie? You see these tears? Man, that is greatly appreciated, bro. Really, man. We can't thank you enough, homie.
No problem. No problem.
Yeah, man.
I got a quick question for both of y'all, though. Quick question. All right. If they permit fans to go to the stadiums and they actually play these games, which Miami home game this season do you guys see as being the most important overall?
Which home game?
Yeah.
To me, I gotta look at this.
You know what I'm gonna say? Hold on, I'm gonna pull up the schedule to give you the exact week, but I already know which game.
Okay.
Because where I see this team where I think this team can put together a run to actually get into the playoffs and actually solidify themselves with a playoff spot is around that whole here, let me bring it up right here. Around those two back-to-back Jets games.
Okay.
That's where I think this team is gonna have to make its run, because I think when you look at the first 8 weeks, there's a lot of games that could go one way or the other. So for me, when I look at it, it's week 50. It's It's November 15th. So what is that? That's week 10. Week 10 I have? Yeah, week 10 I have the game. 1, 2, 3, 7. Yeah, week 10. Because they're coming off the Cardinals and the Rams. But you got the Jets, then the Bengals. Then you got to get into the Chiefs and the Patriots. So for me, that Jets game can set off for a 3-game winning streak. And a 3-game winning streak to me in the NFL, those are the type of things where that can get you into a wild card spot. I mean, if you can win that Jets, Bengals, take that L to the Chiefs, but come back and beat the Patriots and the Raiders, that first Jets win has kind of set off a domino effect where you've now won 5 out of 6 games, and you probably put yourself with only the Bills left at the end of the season. You probably put yourself in a position to potentially win the AFC East. So I think that first Jets game, if they're keeping their neck above water, just above water, up until that Jets game, you can go on a streak right there, winning 5 out of 6. And if you beat the Bills in December in Buffalo, you've now won 6 out of 7, and you're probably locked into the playoffs.
Okay. What's your opinion, Ian?
I think it's that. I think it's that first Buffalo game. I think we play Buffalo at home first, right? Correct reason?
Yeah, we play them. Week 2.
I think that's going to be a tone setter for the season. That'll be a good barometer of where we are overall as a team. Because I think Buffalo, talent-wise, they're the favorites on paper at this point. Not in my opinion. I still think we'll wind up being better than them, but that'll be a tone-setting type of game, I think, potentially for our team, because it's a division rival. Everybody, that's a playoff team from last year, okay? And, I think that, and being, like I said, being the second game of the season, that could potentially be a tone setter for the season overall, not just the, AFC East. But I think that Buffalo game is the most important one, I think.
Okay, so with that being said, you're in Texas, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And Reason, are you in Canada?
Yeah, I'm just outside Toronto.
All right. Choosing one of those 2 games, the 2 that you guys just mentioned, do both of you guys want to go to one of those games?
Oh, hey. If they're allowing fans in, hell yeah.
What about you, Reason?
Hell yeah.
I mean, if they're allowing fans. I'm planning to be down in Orlando because I have a spot out in Orlando, right out of basically in Kissimmee, right, like Lake Nona area.
Okay.
And I'm trying to come out there for October 25th, week 7 against the Chargers, and the Rams game, week 8. So I'm going to try to go games.
How about this? I think you guys should probably do a show from one of the games. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm willing to, make that possible for you guys. I mean, I don't know if you guys can for yourself, but I'm willing to do it for you. I'll get the tickets. I'll fly you out. You understand what I mean? Like all you have to do is just basically, I guess, handle your own thing as far as your hotel or your transportation. But other than that, as far as the game goes, I got you, and we'll have real good seats, and you can have a show from the game itself. I don't know. That's just something that I came up with. That's an idea that's just been floating around in my head.
Man, Rick, bro.
Yeah.
Bro, man. I mean, I don't know what to say, homie. We're gonna have to talk privately. We gotta talk privately because I don't want to get emotional on camera, bro. We're gonna talk privately about that.
Just do this. That's what you did the other day. You know what I mean? Like you need a shirt with you on there just like this. I guess that'll work.
Man, that, bro. I mean, I don't know what to say, homie. That's greatly appreciated, bro.
Man, no problem, man. I mean, like, I love doing that kind of stuff for fellow Dolphins and whatnot. We're going to 2 games this year. We're going to be in the one in Arizona again if they let the fans go. I've already paid for the tickets. We're going to Arizona against the Cardinals. We'll be at the red zone or whatever they call it, and we're also going to be at that game in Las Vegas. And those those tickets were expensive as hell, man. Like it cost me $2,400.
Yeah.
That Cardinals game, though, bro, you're gonna see a good one with that Cardinals game, man.
Yeah. I hope it works out. I mean, like, you know, they're kind of building a little team. Well, I'm actually in Arizona, you know what I mean? So they kind of building a little team out here. Yeah. Okay. So we'll see. I mean, but yeah, I mean, like I said,
I'm a huge Kyler guy. I love Kyler Murray.
Yeah, I wanted the Dolphins to draft him when he was coming out in that draft, but we didn't. Yep. But now I'm kind of glad we got Tua, though, because if I had to pick between those two, I'd pick Tua every day of the week.
Yeah. I would too. At the end of the day, I would too. I'm a Kyler Murray fan as well. Fan of his talent. But I just think Tua, man, Tua's overall game, I think it's just, he's special, man. Tyler might be superior athletically. He might be faster. He might have, a stronger arm. But I think Tua, all the other aspects of his game, I think are just superior to what, at this point, I think, than what Kyler Murray's is. But I'm a fan of both of them. But I just prefer Tua. And then on top of that, bro, we talked about Tua's box office. Everything what he brings off the field, bro. You don't see that. You don't see Kyler having that kind of impact, at least at this point, on that franchise that Tua has had already. So I just think Tua, he was the pick. It was destined. I think it was all the stars aligned, and I just think it was meant to be, bro. With Tua talking about.
Well, you're out there, Rick. How big is Kyler out in Arizona?
I haven't seen him in person yet, but I don't know.
No, but I mean, how big is he? Like,
you mean as far as the city is concerned? Well,
yeah.
I'm sure they're not like overhyping him like you think a lot of people would. I mean, honestly, I hear a lot more Tua talk, and I'm not even at the crib. I hear a lot more Tua talk than I hear Kyler talk being here. So I don't know.
I'm sure Kyler is huge in Arizona, but I'm talking about in terms of nationally, outside their respective states.
I think nationally, I don't know. I mean, I haven't watched much television, so you know what I mean. Like, I don't really have my ear to the media normally, like I normally would. But when it comes to Kyler Murray, I don't know. Whenever I turn on the TV or I read anything, I don't get this big, Kyler Murray's gonna have a breakout year type deal with him. So like, he's one of those guys that I don't think much about Kyler, honestly.
I hear you. Way to represent, though, out there in Arizona, homie. I thought you was in Florida. A way to represent, baby.
I had to leave the crib. I mean, honestly, man, if I'd have stayed home, I'd probably be in prison right now, something like that. Man, at some point, you got to get away. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it's bad down there. I'm glad I made it out, though.
I hear you, bro. Much respect to you, bro.
Yeah.
I can definitely relate. I had friends in the past. I live in Texas now, but I'm originally from Little Rock, Arkansas. Okay. But so during my era coming up in my early 20s, and it was bad as well. Down there as well. So I had to leave. Well, not necessarily because of that, but but I had a lot of friends that didn't make it. Out of that environment. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
So I definitely understand. Where you come from, bro. Yeah, I hear you.
All right, well, let me stop holding up y'all string and go back to doing what you was doing. You know what I mean?
I wanted to say, Rick, feel free to hit us up, email, Twitter, whatever, even if you just want to shoot the shit, you know what I mean? So
okay,
it doesn't have to be about investing, but if you're down to invest or down for whatever, obviously, man, I mean, we're just blessed that you would even offer to do that, brother.
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely.
I think it's necessary. You understand what I mean? Like I said, I think that, all you guys need is a bit more of a push, in my opinion, and you guys are skyrocket. That's the way I see it. I could be wrong, but that's up to you. That's up to you two to prove whether that's a right or wrong thought of mine. But I can see it happening. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I see the potential. You understand? So yeah, I wouldn't invest any bread behind it unless I believed in it. So yeah.
Man, that's so flattering, bro.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, y'all. But yeah, I just made a Twitter. I don't really use Twitter, but I just made one. So I guess I'll try to hit y'all up there.
Plug it though for people to follow you.
Absolutely.
All right.
Make sure you hit me up. You hit me up at EMdolphinfan.
All right, I'll definitely do that.
Man,
Yeah.
again, bro.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go
I
ahead.
was gonna say again, bro, man, everything is greatly appreciated, bro. Really.
No problem.
Appreciate
But
you.
I'm kind of getting a little lag too, so let me go ahead and get out of y'all way, man.
All right, homie. Thanks very
All
much.
right, homie.
Yeah,
You always welcome, bro. Always welcome.
appreciate that.
I see
So,
Joe.
Yeah, Joe said he doesn't want to come on. He's liking the commentary. So
There's no more commentary, Joe. Get your behind on here, bro. Hop in real quick.
yeah, bro, we just want to personally thank you for their donation. I see we got another PayPal donation. Let me just check that out. Wow. Ricketic again. Ricketic again with 130 Canadian dollar donation to the channel. Appreciate you, homie. Man, that's crazy, bro. That's crazy, bro. Appreciate you, Rick. And you know what? If we do go out to a Dolphins game, especially if we do what you talked about, bro, you better make sure you're there too, because we definitely want to have a few.
Absolutely. I want to see you face to face.
Soda pops, bro. We gotta have a few soda pops in the sun for that kind of love, man. We appreciate you so much, Rick. Joe B says, I'll come on when Esteban does. Hashtag all love fins up. I guess he's referring to the fact that about Esteban gave the video about what was to his pop.
Oh.
I think Joe B was calling out Esteban earlier in the chat, if I remember correctly.
Was Esteban in the chat earlier, or he was just calling him out?
I don't think so. I think he's just calling him out.
Oh, okay.
Troy Ortiz, 130 Canadian is about 100 US. So he made his second $100 US donation.
Anybody else backstage? I want to hear. I kind of want to hear what somebody.
There's no one really backstage, and we're almost at the 2-hour mark, bro. It's almost 12 a.m. So I'm gonna, especially because we're gonna be back on Wednesday and Friday. We streamed yesterday.
Cool.
Yeah, we're just gonna call it. I just wanted to give Ricketic and Joe B the chance, just because of their donations. But I want Ricketic and Joe B regularly when we open this up, guys. I want you guys to make sure that you come on here, because chat. We want to hear from you guys. So
absolutely. Saw family here.
Of course. Family. So any last things you want to say before we get out of here?
Oh, bro, another one in the books. Another. Hopefully everybody enjoyed the show, and we got another one on the books. And appreciate all the love again, Ricketic, Joe, everybody, Rhino. I want to see you, boy. I want to see you, son. Rhinos, your fake spikes. Your let me pull up this chat.
Kills YT wants to know when he can play you on Madden.
Who is that?
Kills YT.
Man, this guy here, man, he really wants that work, don't he? Man, he really wants it. I got you. Your Aquavisions, your FMs. I want to see you too as well. Vic and man, I'm butchering your name, homie. Let me see. Richard Blackstone, Fox and Around, Todd Lobruto, Dolphin 1244. It is greatly appreciated. If I miss y'all already know who you are. All the support is greatly appreciated, gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen.
I want to add this to it, guys. We've only been going since March 17th, I believe, and we already have 1.1 million minutes watched on YouTube. So we've already passed the 1 million minutes watched mark on YouTube, and we greatly appreciate you guys for continuing to show the support, continuing to tune in. And what's crazy is almost over 40% of those 1.1 million minutes are from non-subscribers. So if you're a non-subscriber that's been watching like that, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that little bell, because it will turn on notifications, guys. If you don't get our notifications, make sure you hit that little bell, turn that little bell on. That'll give you the notifications 110%. So I want to, it's crazy. Guys, we're only sitting at about 800 and let me give me a subscriber count. Yesterday we were at 880. We are at 883 subscribers, and yet we have over 1.1 million minutes watched. So we see all y'all out there watching, not hitting the subscription button. Make sure you hit it because it greatly goes away, and we will be doing a giveaway at 1K. Episode 39, we will be coming back on Wednesday. Episode 40, again, Dante Colonelli, Friday night. We'll be coming back on. We'll be going over the running back situation. That'll be one you guys you're gonna want to pay attention to. It'll be a good one. And the fact that we're almost already 40 episodes into this journey, guys, and the fact that we're continuing to pump out content at least 3 or 4 times a week, and we're basically in a news purgatory for content with the Dolphins right now. It's a good thing, man. It just shows that we got the ability to maintain this, and once that season starts, especially once training camp starts, guys, we got something special lined up for training camp that we think you guys are really going to like.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, and I wanted to say, guys, we have 883 subscribers, but the fact of the matter is we're consistently doing 1,000, 1.1, 1.2, all the way up to 1.5. We have videos around 2,000, with 2,000, around 3,000. So we have 883 subscribers, but we're consistently beating that mark with views. We're hitting over 125% when it comes to views compared to subscribers. So consistently. So we want to thank everyone who consistently tunes in and enjoys the content, man. We do it for you, man. This season we're gonna blow your minds because what you guys have seen so far right now, we're just scratching the surface. We have so many things that we haven't been able to execute because we're not into the preseason, we're not into training camp, or we're not into the regular season yet. But y'all are gonna really like what we got planned coming out for you guys. So I got no doubt that we're gonna be, before that first snap happens for week 1, I got no doubt we'll be beyond 1,000 subscribers. And again, we're going to be doing a special giveaway for that, for an item that's customizable. So you're going to want to stay tuned for that once we get there. But yeah, man, that's it from me, guys. I don't know what else. You got anything else to say, EM?
They already know what it is, bro. They know what it is. You see that? What's that right there? What does that mean to you? What does that mean to you? All
Life.
Day, every day.
Life.
All day, every day, baby.
Life.
Y'all be safe out there, gentlemen.
Yeah, you guys be safe. You guys stay healthy, and you guys remain happy with your families. Kiss your little ones. Hold your loved ones. It's another day of breathing. It's another blessed day to be alive. So we'll see you guys on Wednesday night. Until then, EM already basically laid it out for y'all. It's Finn's